going from that level all the way up to international thinking on science as a more abstract concept, that's a really interesting journey. You don't see a lot of people crossing that gulf, or at least I haven't. But one of the things we're going to talk about this morning is creating institutions and managing them so they last a long time and they can actually make an impact in the long term, despite things that happen in the meantime. Also relevant today, as a lot of our scientific institutions in the United States are at best are facing identity crises. So I think this is a good topic for this time.
I'll just add in the middle there between JPL and what I'm doing now, I spent 7 years leading a research and development group, obtaining SBIRs, where principal investigator as various contracts for AI applications in aerospace. But then once I got through a semester of architecture, I was at the Rose Parade in Pasadena, and the B-2 bomber flew super low overhead. I was like, that's cool. I want to build those. And looking back on it, it was a perfect fit because that was their job. They were translators between scientists with their goal and the engineers about what they can actually build. And they don't speak the same language, and they often talk past each other. And your job is to make sure that they build something that works. So I took a year off in the middle, 2012, of my time at JPL, and just traveled around the world. And of all the places I visited, Edinburgh was the one that spoke out most to me of like a place to go return to. And I had the opportunity to go back there and just move there. And it was a really fascinating experience from like the technology and engineering history that I hadn't been aware of, because as you might be familiar, there was the Scottish Enlightenment, which happened. And so Edinburgh is a very small walkable town, and it is sort of built around pubs. So you live in your house, but then after work, you would go to the pub and hang out there. So what you had then was you had engineers talking to scientists, talking to doctors around the drinking tables in this small town. And that kind of enabled this Scottish Enlightenment. And it was like a huge project to go out to Jupiter with a big, thermonuclear power source. And it was through PDR, all this work by hundreds of people for years, just basically thrown in the trash. And that's just the reality of working research with the federal government.
Is that fair?
Yeah. Well, we have some examples from history. So I've been doing a bunch of research on this recently, and I haven't finished it, so I don't have the full answer yet, but at least enough to start the conversation. Before I started this research, I'd heard of Bell Labs as like this amazing place that did a lot of research. And they were, I think, 60 years of groundbreaking technologies. They invented the transistor, which enables us to have this conversation on a computer video call. They invented long distance communication. They laid the first deep sea cables. They helped develop the first satellites. I mean, all of this stuff that basically enabled the foundation of our modern society. And they did it as a private company. And the reason they could do it as a private company is because they had a monopoly protection. So they were part of AT&T.